then, lads and lasses, how we're doing, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. In today's 5 PM news, by the way, I'm going to start calling this 5 PM news now. For some reason, I feel like the term daily news is really saturated, and of course, 5 PM news fits the channel very well, as more or less every single video is uploaded at 5 PM. But ladies and gentlemen, in today's 5 PM news video, we've got 3 bits of intriguing Newcastle United news. At the end of the video, we will take a look at how Newcastle United have been tracking a right-wing sensation who currently plays in the Premier League for Southampton. He's caught the eye a few times this season, young Tyler Dibling, who by the way, I really like as a player. We'll soon get into him. Also, it was reported yesterday by Italian media that Sandro Tonali is unhappy at Newcastle United and wants to leave the club. That was soon put to bed by Sandro Tonali's agent, Giuseppe Riso. We'll take a look at exactly what he said, and he's actually said some very positive things about Sandro Tonali and his life on Tyneside. But lads and lasses, we're going to get started off with something which may not come as a surprise to you. It was reported by Craig Hope as of last night that Callum Wilson is injured again. The 32-year-old striker has just returned from a 4-month injury, and since that 4-month injury up until now has managed 57 minutes of Premier League football and will now miss the next 2 months of action. Callum Wilson has suffered a hamstring injury after feeling tightness in his hamstring at the JTech Community Stadium, where he played about 17 minutes. Look, I love Callum Wilson. He's been an unbelievable striker for Newcastle United, and rightly so. You know, it proves to that. He is our second highest goal scorer in the Premier League era, but I think it's time to retire. Seriously, Callum, if you can't handle an hour of football, which by the way isn't an hour straight, it's chopped up in minutes against West Ham, etc. If you can't handle an hour of football after being out for 4 months and we are managing your game time, I think it's time to call it a day. While the fans still respect how great you've been for the football club, how many fantastic goals you've scored, I think it's time to cut our ties, because let's be real, he is our backup striker and he's not really got that value as what he did a few or even a couple of years ago. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the thumbs up button if you do enjoy the video, subscribe if you are new for all Newcastle United content, and let's take a look at what Sandro Tonali's agent has said on Sandro Tonali leaving the club. So just like the Callum Wilson news, and by the way, honestly, it's so frustrating. I do feel sorry for Callum Wilson. He's not like he's coming out every single week and saying, oh yeah, I want to injure my elbow now. I do feel sorry for him, and he keeps on saying it's me who's angry more than anyone. Callum, you do have to understand, we respect you so much, but we are absolutely and rightfully so infuriated as well. It's becoming a liability, if I'm being honest. But let's move on to Sandro Tonali's agent, and it was reported by Italy's leading newspaper, I think it was something like La Gazzetta della Sport. They reported that Sandro Tonali is unhappy in Newcastle United and wants to leave the club. Lads and lasses, it only took about 2 to 3 hours for Sandro Tonali's agent, Giuseppe Riso, to deny all the false accusations that was made by Italy's media. And let's be real, Italy's media, they've said so many false things about Sandro Tonali. These guys really seem to hate us ever since we've signed Sven Botman, where AC Milan were meant to sign him, and Sandro Tonali. They can't hack the fact that we've signed one of their national team's best players, although we aren't a Big Six side. Anyways though, Sandro Tonali's agent said exactly this. Sandro is absolutely not considering to return to the Serie A. He's happy at Newcastle, happy to play in the best league in the world, and he is an idol for Newcastle United fans who've always supported Sandro in every single moment. First of all, I'm absolutely buzzing to hear that. I mean, of course his agent isn't going to come out and say, oh, Sandro is unhappy and he does want to leave. However, it is quite refreshing to hear that. It's quite notoriously known that Italian players rarely leave the League of Italy. In the past, the Italian league has been seen as the best league in the world. Maybe when Maradona was there, when Juventus was at its peak, when AC Milan was at its peak. Italian players rarely do come to the Premier League and absolutely boss it. Even Jorginho was one of the best in recent times, and let's be real, he's not a world beater, is he, lads and lasses? But Sandro Tonali is happy on Newcastle, is what his agent claims. That's great news for me. Lastly though, it's been reported by a local journalist, Dominic Skur, as of the Gazette, that Newcastle United have been tracking 18-year-old Southampton right-winger Tyler Dibling since 2022. The club have not only got eyes on that young right-winger right now, but we actually tried to sign the youngster in 2022 when his contract expired at Southampton. He then moved to Chelsea on a free transfer, and after 2 months, he moved back to Southampton due to homesickness. Now, let me get one thing straight. First of all, I really do rate Tyler Dibling very highly. He stood out for Southampton this season, albeit not very hard to do, is it? They've been struggling very, very hard under Russell Martin this season, even struggling against Newcastle United with 10 men on the season opener. However, I do really rate Tyler Dibling. His dribbling is there, his bravery is there to come and boss it, although I do use that word a bit too harsh there actually, to impress, shall we say, in the Premier League at 18 years old. It's a fantastic achievement. And we've also got to note that if Southampton get relegated, of course, they can't exactly charge Newcastle United over the odds for young Tyler Dibling. However, ladies and gentlemen, there was one thing in there what's got me quite scarce actually. If Tyler Dibling was homesick after going from Southampton to Chelsea, which, let's be real, it's not exactly a 6-hour trip up to the northeast, how on earth would he feel leaving one side of the country to the complete opposite from Southampton to Newcastle upon Tyne? Let's be real, if he can't handle being an hour away from his family, 6, 7 and 8 hours isn't gonna sort of have a steady tide, let's just say that. However, I'm hoping that Tyler Dibling, of course that was 2 years ago where he felt homesick, has become more of a man now, especially he has with his footballing ability, and he could come to Newcastle United if anything does really spur up from this premature interest, shall we say. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed the video, yet again, I would appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new. I've been Josh. Go and enjoy your day, people.